Today, we're going to talk about what is essentially a borderline emotionally abusive relationship that I have with a form factor. Now, if that seems a bit dramatic, it's because it is. But honestly, I love Matx. However, there's one huge problem with it. Now, this PC standing here is my attempt at upgrading a fairly budget gaming PC into something that's streaming capable. Now, the case that it's built into is a Fractal Design Meshify C Mini. So this is the Matx version of the Fractal Design Meshify C, which in itself isn't a very big case, but this is like a smaller, more condensed version of it. And I really like it, especially for desktop use. It's really nice because it's not this huge, towering, massive PC standing next to you on your desk. It just looks so cute. Now, the thing with Matx is that you do lose some expansion ability as opposed to ATX because you have fewer PCI Express slots on Matx motherboards. However, that's not a huge problem because how many expansion cards do you have in your PC other than your graphics card? And there is still space for some expansion, which gives it an advantage over a real mini form factor like ITX. Now, another thing that I really like about Matx is that you don't really have to sacrifice any thermal performance either. So you get a smaller size, but honestly, this version of the Fractal Design Meshify C doesn't perform any worse thermally than the ATX version, which is really awesome. And that's one of the biggest problems with ITX. Yes, ITX is a lot smaller, but in most ITX cases, you kind of have to accept the fact that it's going to catch on fire every time you use it for a real workload. I do kind of get why Matx isn't the most popular form factor because, well, it is essentially ATX and you just lose some potential future upgradability. And again, it's not that much smaller. But the thing is, there's actually a really good selection of Matx cases out there. There's this bad boy, which I love. Fantex actually has like an Matx version of that Evolve chassis, which is really awesome. It's one of my favorite cases around. NZXT has the H410i, which is a really awesome case as well. There's a selection of really good Matx cases, so that's not the problem with Matx. The real problem with Matx is the fact that motherboard manufacturers don't support the form factor. Currently, there is not a single X470 or X570 Matx motherboard, not one. If you want to go for an AMD-based Matx build, you have to settle for pretty crappy B450 boards. The highest end B450 board that you get is a Gigabyte motherboard, but it still isn't that great, and they all have pretty crappy VRMs. In fact, the VRM on the motherboard that I have in this PC is so bad that it can't offer more than 1 volt to the actual 2700 8-core CPU that it has in here. It's technically compatible with the 8-core CPUs, but it can't actually run them properly. Okay, I get that it is like an $80 motherboard, but it still should give you decent support for the 8-core CPUs from AMD because, well, they are compatible with it. Now, the story looks quite a bit better when you go over to the Intel side. Like, there are a couple of Matx Z390 motherboards. MSI has the highest end, like, reasonable one, and it's actually a pretty great motherboard. And you can even get a really crazy high-end overclocking Republic of Gamers Matx motherboard on Z390, but honestly, that motherboard doesn't make a huge amount of sense unless you're like liquid nitrogen cooling it and trying to break world records. However, even though there are actual motherboards available on the Intel platform that aren't just crap, they still don't have a very good selection. And I really want motherboard manufacturers to bring out at least one decent option per manufacturer for us Matx lovers out there. Because honestly, the only reason that I haven't gone full Matx, if that makes any sense, for my main system is because of that problem of motherboard compatibility. The thing with Matx is that you can fit really crazy hardware into this case. In fact, unless you're full-blown custom loop liquid cooling in a case like this, you're not really giving up any compatibility. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you can fit a 360mm radiator in the front of this case, which is pretty crazy. Now, I kind of get that this is a fairly pointless opinion piece video, and that the reason that Matx isn't as popular as either ITX or ATX, it doesn't really offer anything that the other two kind of form factors don't do better. Like, if you want small size, ITX is significantly better than Matx. And if you want, you know, like more expansion options, ATX is better than Matx. And like, Matx is a bit of a weird middle ground when it comes to size. So I get that it's a bit of a niche platform, but I think that considering how we live with our PCs today, with it sitting on our desk next to us like this, I think Matx should actually be more popular than it is. So let me know in the comment section below how you feel about Matx. If you think it's pointless and that this video is stupid, let me know. But if you think that there is some merit to my argument that people should support this platform more because it is actually pretty epic, then let me know that as well. If you like this video, do like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Well, hopefully they won't be as pointless as this one, but more videos like this one. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where unfortunately I don't post that much stuff, but I'll try and be better with that. And yeah, until the next video, bye-bye.